Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5 are going to present a project about create educated people, prosperous nation, and exploration on SDG Goal 4 in Malaysia. So let's start with our presentation by introducing our group members. The first one is Khairul, second one is me, Nizam, third one is Ikhwan, the fourth one is Wazif, and the last one is Ryan Hazik.
Introduction. Accordingly, the objective of our study is to explore the quality of education in Malaysia that is basically yardstick to the development of a country. By highlighting the educational thing, we discover the associated problems that turn out to be the primary reason Malaysian quality education failed. Comparably, the analysis also identify the different the education globally and in Malaysia. To solve this issue, we find out the government made up some policies, initiative, and program that might be the solution to build better education in Malaysia. Malaysia.
Next, I'm going to explain about the concept of sustainability development goal number 4 or quality education. SDG 4 is a key objective of United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainability Development. It aims to provide inclusive and equitable quality education for all. SDG 4 focuses on reducing educational inequalities, improving standards, and promoting lifelong learning. The goal emphasizes equity and inclusivity, ensuring that all children have equal access to education, irrespective of their background. It aims to eliminate obstacles faced by vulnerable groups such as poverty, discrimination, and violence. Quality education is a central aspect of SDG 4, emphasizing the need for qualified educators, educational resources, and modern infrastructure. Lifelong learning is also highlighted, recognizing the importance of continuous skill development for people of all ages. Collaborating among stakeholders, including governments, is crucial for achieving SDG 4 and creating a world with inclusive, high-quality education for all. Next, the significance of SDG 4 or quality education in context of sustainability development. Number 1 is breaking the cycle of poverty. Quality education breaks the cycle of poverty by providing skills for better employment, enabling active participation in society, and fostering entrepreneurship for economic growth and sustainability development. Number 2 is fostering economic growth and innovation. High quality education fosters a skilled workforce with technical know-how, adaptability to new technology, and digital literacy. This boosts economic productivity, competitiveness, and sustainability development while promoting a culture of innovation through creativity and problem solving. Next is advancing gender equality. SDG 4 emphasizes gender equality in education, promoting equal access for girls and women. Quality education empower girls, break stereotypes, and foster inclusive environment, enabling them to pursue their aspirations and challenge societal barriers. Lastly is promoting health and well-being. High quality education empower individuals to make informed health decisions, adopt healthy habits, and reduce disease. It promotes awareness of hygiene, reproductivity, health, nutrition, and mental well-being while fostering empathy and reducing stigma towards disabilities and health issues.
Now we would like to go ahead and discuss the objectives of SDG 4. There are seven main targets implemented by UNESCO. The first one is universal education. The main idea that UNESCO focuses on is ensuring all students will be able to obtain adequate and quality education completely free of charge. The second one, early childhood development and universal pre-elementary education. UNESCO wants all younger generations to obtain an education before they enter primary school. Third, allow equal access for education. UNESCO wants all men and women to have an equal chance to apply for quality technical, vocational, or tertiary education. UNESCO, for the fourth one, wants relevant skills for decent work. This expectation of UNESCO wants the society to have a higher human capital value. The fifth one, gender equality. In this modern world, there should be no disparities between genders. With that in mind, UNESCO has specified that by 2030, all gender discrimination shall be eliminated in education to ensure everyone has an equal chance towards education. Next, universal youth literacy. UNESCO aims for all members of society to be excellent in literacy and numeracy. And the final one, the seventh one, education for sustainable development and global citizenship. By 2030, UNESCO targets that all individuals should be educated and well equipped with useful knowledge and skills to promote and provide a sustainable environment for living. Next, we would like to go over the three means of implementation that UNESCO has given us. The first one is UNESCO says we should have effective learning environment. A good environment and a conductive environment gives students a better place to study and will yield better outcomes. Second, UNESCO said by 2030, by 2020, the total number of scholarships has increased exponentially globally. These scholarships also are given to less developed countries such as the Africans. Finally, teachers and educators. A large supply of certified and qualified educators and teachers would tremendously improve the educational system and is the target of SDG 4. Several macroeconomics concepts are applicable towards achieving SDG 4. Here are a few concepts that come to mind. The first one is investment in education. Education is both a social and an economic investment. Government and policymakers need to allocate resources towards education, including funding for infrastructures, teacher training, and educational programs. Second one, human capital formation. Education plays a crucial role in human capital formation, which refers to the process of developing the skills, knowledge, and abilities for individuals. By investing in quality education and skill development, countries can enhance their human capital, leading to higher productivity, better employment, and that would lead to economic growth. Following that, education and labor market dynamics. Education influences labor market dynamics, including employment rates, wage levels, and income inequality. By improving education, skills, by improving education and skills, countries can enhance labor market outcomes, reduce unemployment, and narrow the wage gaps. Next, we're going to look into education and economic growth. Education is closely linked to economic growth. It equips individuals with the skills necessary and needed to participate in the workforce. And finally, education and innovation. Education fosters innovation and technological progress, which are critical drivers of economic development. By promoting education that encourages critical thinking, creativity, and problem-solving skills, countries can nurture a skilled workforce that contributes to innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic competitiveness.
Current state of SDG 4 in Malaysia. Number 1, education enrollment rates. Gross enrollment rates ratio is the ratio of total enrollment rate regardless of age to the population, the age group that officially corresponds to the level of education shown. Primary education provides children with basic reading, writing, and mathematics skills, along with an elementary understanding of such subjects as history, geography, natural science, social science, art, and music. Secondary education completes provision of basic education that began at the primary level and aims at laying the foundation of lifelong learning and human development by offering more subject or skill-oriented instruction using more specialized teachers. Tertiary education, whether or not for an advanced research qualification, normally requires, as a minimum condition of admission, the successful completion of education at the secondary level. Education enrollment rates, primary education. When we look at the graph of primary school enrollment percentage of all eligible children, for that indicator, We provide data from Malaysia from 1970 to 2020. The average value for Malaysia during the period was 98.18%, with a minimum of 87.62% in 1970 and a maximum of 105.29% in 2017. The latest value from 2020 is 103.91%. For comparison, the world average in 2020 based on 136 countries is 102.59%. Education enrollment rates, secondary education. Graph of secondary school enrollment, percent of all eligible children. For that indicator, we provide data from Malaysia from 1970 to 2021. The average value for Malaysia during the period was 68.99%, with a minimum of 39.23% in 1970 and a maximum of 85.45% in 2017. The latest value from 2021 is 84.54%. For its comparison, the world average in 2021 based on 53 countries is 79.49%. Education enrollment rates, tertiary education. For that indicator of the tertiary school enrollment graph, percent of all eligible children, we provide data from Malaysia from 1979 to 2020. The average value for Malaysia during that period was 23.17%, with a minimum of 3.82% in 1979 and a maximum of 46.79% in 2016. The latest value from 2020 is 42.57%. For comparison, the world average in 2020 based on 113 countries is 51.98%. Number two, literacy rates. Malaysia has made significant strides in improving literacy rates. According to the UNESCO's Institute for Statistics, the literacy rate for the population aged 15 years and above was estimated at 95.5% in 2019. The graph of Malaysia interest rate 1980 till 2023 percentage. Malaysia rate for 2019 was 94.97%, a 0.12% increase from 2018. Malaysia illiteracy for 2018 was 94.85%, a 0.23% decline from 2017. Malaysia literacy rate for 2017 was 95.08%, a 0.2% increase from 2016. And finally, Malaysia literacy rate for 2016 was 94.88%, a 1.76% increase from 2010. Number three, inclusion and equity. Malaysia is aware of the value of equal and inclusive education. To alleviate inequalities based on gender, ethnicity, socioeconomic class, and geographic location, initiatives have been put in place. However, difficulties still exist, especially when it comes to giving marginalized and disadvantaged groups like indigenous tribes and children from low-income households similar chances. The pledge to provide quality and inclusive education is emphasized in the 2013 till 2025 Malaysia Education Blueprint. However, Malaysia's context, including its diverse ethnicity, language, culture, religion, educational school system, have implications for the implementation and promotion of inclusive education. Number four, vocational and technical education. The value of vocational and technical education has been acknowledged by Malaysia, which is actively pushing it as a different career option for students. To better satisfy industry expectations, efforts has been made to improve the caliber and relevance of the vocational education programs. Technical and vocational education and training (TVET) in Malaysia is an area that is receiving increasing attention, with time, energy, and resource dedicated to TVET development having consistently grown over the last decade. With the recognition that TVET has potential to drive the economy and social development to new heights, TVET has been touted a game changer by various stakeholders, and efforts for improvement of the TVET system in the country have been well underway. Number five, the teacher quality. The value of vocational and technical education has been acknowledged by Malaysia, which is actively pushing it as a different career option for students. Look at the graph of trained teachers in primary education. For that indicator, we provide data from Malaysia from 1999 to 2020. The average value for Malaysia during that period was 95.97%, with a minimum of 91.03% in 2003 and a maximum of 99.93% in 2015. The latest value from 2020 is 96.63%. For comparison, the world average in 2020, based on 74 countries, is 90.51%. To better satisfy industry expectations, efforts have been made to improve the caliber and relevance of vocational education programs. And lastly, number six, investment in education. Malaysia acknowledges the significance of education as one of the major forces behind economic development and prosperity. In order to increase access, quality, and outcomes, the government has constantly made investment in many facets in the education sector. Look at the graph of Ministry of Education expenditure. When we look at the graph between 2010 and 2018, government spends on elementary and secondary education accounted for 10.6 billion ringgit, or about 41% of the overall Ministry of Education development expenditure budget. The expenditure of rural education infrastructure in Sabah and Sarawak received an additional 10% of funding, along with over 8% for teacher college education and slightly over 7% for technical and vocational training programs. For the investment of higher education, the graph of Ministry of Education higher education expenditure between 2010 and 2018, about 30% of Ministry of Higher Education development expenditure was devoted to basic research and research training.
The next topic for our presentation is factors contributing to the quality education in Malaysia. The first one is human capital. The focus on education and human capital development is encapsulated in the third of six major thrusts of the 11 Malaysia Plan, 11 MP, accelerating human capital development for an advanced nation. The underlying purpose of this effort is to boost labor productivity and create more job opportunities for highly skilled workers. This tidal wave has four focus points. To boost economic growth, the first step is to improve labor market efficiency. The second focuses on technical and vocational education and training, TVET, to meet industrial demand. The third emphasis is on developing skills through lifelong learning. The fourth priority is to improve the educational system's quality in order to increase students' outcome and institutional excellence. Next is ethos and philosophy. The 11 MP reinforces neoliberal and new public management principles in education, emphasizing efficiency and cost effectiveness. This approach has transformed higher education into a more business oriented system, neglecting the intangible and immeasurable aspects of education and its role in building a just and knowledgeable society in Malaysia. The last factor contributing to the quality education in Malaysia is TVET. The 11 MP recognizes the importance of technical and vocational education and training TVET and aims to elevate its status as an equivalent academic pathway. However, the current Malaysian qualifications framework MQF does not provide a true dual track system, hindering the transition from TVET to academic routes. Additionally, efforts to broaden TVET's scope and enhance industry collaboration lack clarity and consideration for student costs. Addressing these challenges, Malaysia should strive to establish itself as a global hub for TVET certification and integrate TVET into the holistic development of individuals. Moreover, the complex fragmentation of TVET across various ministries and institutions requires attention for effective implementation, clear articulation, and measures to foster public-private collaboration, such as industry-funded apprenticeships, are essential for the success of TVET.
The program or initiative or policy that have been making by the government. The national education system in Malaysia received funding for attempt to address the problems. To assure the birth of a smart generation, Malaysians have extremely distinct difference between their government and those of other nations. The 11 initiative that the Malaysian government has undertaken is attached that have chosen from Malaysia Education Blueprint from 2013 to 2025 from our main focus before. The first initiative is provide equal access to quality education of an international standard. What do we have to learn about the international standard? The government put on benchmark the learning of languages, mathematics, and science to international standard, uh, meaning that we need to know the standard of languages, mathematics, and science. The second one is ensure every child is proficient in Bahasa Malaysia and English language and is encouraged to learn an additional languages. As we know, most companies require additional languages such as Mandarin as their priority to take the worker. The third initiative is develop values-driven Malaysians. Uh, the policymaker introduced and enhanced Islamic and moral education with greater focus on unity and fostering stronger bonds among students. The meaning that we need to make a program with other school or university to get the stronger bond together. Next, transform teaching into the profession of choice. The quality of teacher that will come out from IPG should be improved because the student will be learning from the teacher. The teacher will give the idea and generate idea better and better. Ensure performing school leaders in every school. School leader also known as the principal for the school will be trained in the decision making order with the high chance of getting the best idea. Empower GPN, PPD and school to customize solutions based on need. The different sets of work programs are required to set up the best serve school to different degree. Initiative number 7 is leverage ICT to scale up quality learning across Malaysia. As we know, we had experienced COVID-19, expanding access to high quality teaching from maximize use of ICT for distance and self-paced learning regardless of location or student skill degree. Next, transform ministry delivery capabilities and capacity. The support staff that will be needed in the office are increasing yearly as the number of new school opens. Uh, the initiative number 9 is partner with parent, community and private sector at scale. We need to get the support from the parent, community and private sector for our school. Invite PIBG members to a meeting once a year. The second last initiative is maximize student outcome for every ringgit. The ministry will direct these monies away from other lesser impact programs and initiatives and towards the priorities outlined in the blueprint. The last initiative from the Malaysian blueprint is increased transparency for direct public accountability. The ministry will provide a report detailing how each of the initiatives mentioned in the blueprint has fared.
The last topic is conclusion. In conclusion, education is actively recommended for all Malaysians by the year 2030, regardless of race, age, or heritage, because it is something that must be practiced from a young age. Additionally, with qualified teachers graduates, the standard of education that is provided to all residents is a requirement. In addition to creating graduates who can compete internationally, intellectual achievement becomes a beginning point for a nation. So that's all for our group's presentation. Thank you for lending your ears and hopes you guys enjoy it.